Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nicocast. Today, I'm here with VONZY. VONZY might not be the biggest creator yet, but his videos are amazing. So, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is VONZY. I'm a aspiring YouTuber. I'm not very big at the moment. The channel's currently sitting at around 1,160 subscribers last time I checked, which I'm still very happy for. But yeah, I'm a YouTuber. The motto of my channel, it used to be anything is possible, which is still something I believe in. And it's kind of it's centered around optimism, positivity, the belief that in this day and age with the power of social media, anything's possible. I'm actually also a university student. I'm a university student at an entrepreneurship course, and I've met a friend there, and we're gonna be doing YouTube full time after this pandemic's over.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's gonna be quite a big rebranding of the channel happening. I've actually just changed the motto of my channel to create your story because I think it's a bit more authentic. But yeah, I also do a lot of freelance editing work. So done editing work for different companies and creators. And yeah, I started doing that really about this time, or probably for a year and a quarter now. I've been done that. I learned how to edit through free YouTube tutorials. So I've done that.
Same.
And then yeah, it's the best way. And yeah, I've just kind of built that up. So I managed to do and like develop myself in the freelance kind of business world within editing quite well recently, this last year during lockdown. But yeah, now it's I'm kind of chasing the big dream, which is to be one of the biggest creators of our generation, or at least in Europe. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So later we'll get into your freelance work, but I want to kind of talk about the thing you're starting with your friends. So why are you gonna brand your current channel, or are you gonna make a new one?
Yes, this is top secret convos right here. I was just chatting with my friend Henry earlier about this.
Yeah.
Because we haven't actually technically known each other for that long, because obviously when I first went to university, we went into lockdown. So I've only actually technically in person known him for a week, but we have lots of university lectures online, and the way the course works is we've worked very closely together. So we've got to know each other well. What we're going to do as for the channel is, after the pandemic's calmed down in the UK, we're going to be having like a 3-month trial where we'll be creating videos together, doing all the stuff we want to. All the money we make will be split 50-50, but the channel will still be remaining the same. So the channel will still be called VONZY. So technically it will still be my channel, but hopefully if all goes well, and if we've got that charisma together, and if we work well together, which I think I'm pretty certain we will, then at the end of that 3 months, we're going to rename the channel. We're currently in discussions about the new name. The top one at the moment is the Bucket List, which would be the name of the new channel. The Bucket List.
That's a good name. Yeah, I like that name.
Thank you.
So, when did the idea, why did you guys decide to start doing it? Who had the idea of starting the group channel?
I mean, I've been doing YouTube for the last year and a half now, only for the last 6 months or 8 months properly, and not even properly. I've been creating a video every 2 weeks for the last 6 months, but I've created a few odd videos before that. A lot of them are privated because they were quite bad, but of course that's what all your videos are going to be like at the start. No, they're never going to be great at the start.
They obviously have to be bad at the start.
Yeah, it's the only way to improve, right? Through failure. But I've always kind of had the vision to be a YouTuber. More specifically, these last 2-3 years, YouTube just seemed like the right career path for me. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been setting up businesses of my own since probably 14 years old. How old are you now, Nico?
I'm 12.
12, okay. That's very, you are truly the youngest podcaster. Yeah, you said at the start, I forgot. But yeah, I've been setting up businesses since I was 13, 14. So I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit in me. But I think it was when I was about 16 is when I realized that YouTube could be a really great career path for me, because I've always wanted to be able to kind of do what I want and not have somebody. I don't ever want to have a boss. I want to
That's the
have
good
my
thing
own free
about
will.
YouTube.
Exactly. So it gives me if I succeed, it will give me the freedom to be my own boss. I can create the videos I want. I also really enjoy filmmaking and storytelling and creating videos. So A, the passion's there. I actually really enjoy it. I actually enjoy the process. B, it allows me to live life on my own terms because I'm my own boss.
You could do your own thing, really.
Exactly. And C, I don't even know if it's C. I just really enjoy it. I really love YouTube. And yeah, hopefully it can become my full-time job. It also opens a lot of other avenues in the future for me to go into.
Yeah, I started when I was 5 turning 6, which is like, now that I think about it, like so long ago. And ever since I started, I knew YouTube was like something I want to do in the future. So yeah, we both kind of saw what we wanted to do very early on.
That is crazy. That is crazy young.
Yeah.
That's it's great that you had a vision at that age. Did you? Yeah, that blows my mind, but it's awesome.
Yeah. So like, who was your inspiration for YouTube? Like, was there like an exact person, or was it just like you liked it so much and like?
Well, a lot of YouTube I actually dislike, and at first I didn't like a lot of YouTubers because I found their content to be somewhat meaningless, and just it wasn't meaningful to me, didn't inspire me, didn't really motivate me. But it was, some of it was still entertaining nevertheless. I think it was until I really saw Yes Theory. I saw what Yes Theory were doing.
So great.
Yeah, for sure. I saw Yes Theory. I saw the Zach and Jay show, who are another big inspiration.
I love them.
And then in terms of my editing style, I think Dan Mace has a big influence on certainly the start of how I edit my content, and Casey Neistat as well. He's a really cool guy and filmmaker. Somewhat of a legend in the industry.
Definitely.
So yeah, Casey, Zach and Jay, Yes Theory, Dan Mace, probably the 4 biggest inspirations. And I saw what they were doing and I thought that was really cool. I thought I could give it a crack myself.
Yeah, those are definitely like.
So hopefully we can.
Yeah, they were like my beginning inspirations. My beginning inspirations were like Minecraft YouTubers. But then like later on, like, I definitely got inspired by Yes Theory, and it's just like my current like people I look up to in the YouTube scene. I've been able to talk to them because of my podcast, to half of them, which is kind of like crazy now that I think about it. That I've been able to talk about like to some of my idols, which is I'm really lucky.
Yeah, I saw and I had a quick look on your Instagram before we hopped on this call, and I saw you. I forgot who else there was, but I saw you interviewed
Max
Amar and Max Fosh. Yeah, Max Fosh is a cool guy as well.
Really nice.
And you interviewed Amar as well, which is he's a great guy.
Max Reisinger too.
Oh yeah, Max as well. I saw that actually a while ago. It popped up in my home feed.
Really?
I love Max as well. I'm actually wearing his jumper right now.
Oh,
very nice jumper. Very comfy.
Yeah, they look comfy.
They are.
So, like, how do you come up with your video ideas? Because some of them are pretty good, like the Anthony Joshua one. You have a lot of good video ideas. So, is there like a specific thing you do, or they just come out of nowhere, like ideas?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, like I've got a whole huge list of video ideas which are yet to come. I still feel like the videos.
I've made some good videos. That's a long list.
Yeah, I've made some good videos off of like recently in these last couple of months, but still I've been quite limited in the videos I can make. Obviously, because we're in lockdown, so I'm limited. I've kind of had to be kind of like creative videos. Exactly, and the type of videos I really want to create are the ones where I'm going out and with big ideas and big concepts and kind of pushing what's possible. So obviously it's hard to do at the moment. But how do I come up with my video ideas? Well, I have periods where I'll think of just ideas which I want to create and like do that, and that will come naturally and like more organically, I guess.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, especially when I'm like busier, when I'm very busy and I've got like, if I've scheduled in that I don't have much free time, then I kind of get I still get my video ideas organically, but they'll mostly be inspired by other content I watch on YouTube. So
yeah,
I'll see someone create a video. I see a couple of videos being made, and then that will give me an idea, which will then inspire me to create a video which is inspired by a couple of different things. But yeah, mainly through me watching. My hair is looking terrible, so I haven't had a haircut in about 10 weeks. So, but yeah, mainly just through me kind of observing what other people are doing on YouTube, and then what they're doing can inspire me, and if not, like me looking at what's happening in the world or how I see things or what I'm feeling, and then I create stuff like that. So yeah, really whatever I think of.
Yeah, I also get most of my ideas by just like watching like other YouTube videos, and like an idea randomly just pops into my mind, and I'm like, write that down quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I try to, like, at the moment, I know when I properly start doing YouTube full time, the video ideas I'm going to be doing, because obviously me and my friend will need to make good money for the channel. We'll need to make money and grow an audience quickly. So the type of ideas will have to be very much centered around the video title and thumbnail. Yeah, they'll have to be big ideas. But now at the moment, I kind of create whatever I want, how I'm feeling, and I just that's it really.
Yes, that's a really good way to come up with video ideas. So like, how did you come up with the name VONZY? Correct me if I'm wrong. It was called like VONZcast before, something like that. Like, how did you come up with the name?
That's very good research. That's very good research. How did you find that? Was that in one of my earlier videos?
Yeah, one of your earlier videos is titled, it's like, the title is Make Life Great, like dash VONZcast.
Oh, very nice. Very good research. Yeah, it was I've got like, I was born in South Africa and I lived there for 6 years. So I'm half English, half South African, but I've got like a German name as well, Austrian actually. My full name is Sebastian von Schönding. So you can hear the von in the middle. Yeah. So at school, I was either called Seb, and then some of my mates would call me Seb Von, just to distinguish, because we had quite a few Sebs in our year. And then I was looking for a YouTube name, and I thought Von, which is my middle name, like my first part of my surname, and then just Z at the end, just sounded quite catchy, I guess, somewhat. So yeah, VONZY. I thought it was quite a good name. But
yeah, it is a really good name.
There wasn't really that much to it. I just kind of thought I went for it, and that's how it happened, really.
Yeah, that's a really good name, like catchy name, because like I would have not been able to come up with that name myself, like, because my current name is like Nico and then Kun, which is the last 3 letters of like where I was born. So
okay,
my dad
that's
made
cool.
that up. So,
that's a great name as well.
Like,
yeah.
Originally,
good name. Good name. It's catchy.
Yeah, I was gonna call it like Nicholas Hulk or like Nico B Fox, and then I'm so glad I didn't like call it that, or like the Nico Batman. And I'm so glad my dad came up with that name, because I could not be doing YouTube with like Nicholas Hulk.
Yeah, well, I think it's quite good. Well, I've actually been debating this recently, but I think it's quite good having like a side name for your YouTube channel, because I was speaking to my friend, a while ago, who's already been quite successful on the YouTube. I spoke to him like a couple of months ago, and almost like a year ago now, right when I was thinking of changing my name to VONZY, and he was saying that he has like a kind of acronym for his YouTube channel as well, because he says when people come up to him in the street, he can kind of identify quickly if they're a mate or if they're a fan. So that's just, I mean, that doesn't matter at all. So, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was more catchy than my long name.
Who was the creator?
Yeah, I can. He was called. He also gives me a lot of my editing work. While we work together a lot. He's called Gabriel DeSanti. He's from New York.
Yeah. I love his videos. Actually, getting into Gabriel DeSanti, you made a short film with him. What was that like?
Oh yeah, so. Well, I didn't make the whole short film with him. We
edited, right?
The film actually never. I edited a sequence for the film, which was quite a big sequence, quite a heavy sequence. But the film sadly never ended up getting released. I can't go too much into the details, but basically, the kind of the talent as such, which is the person who was doing the script over and who was quite essential to the whole idea of that story in the film, which was going to be submitted. She had a problem with some of the scripting, which was a little bit annoying, because the script was amazing. It's one of the best scripts I've ever seen for a short film. And it was a really empowering piece. So I edited that little sequence, but unfortunately, she never came through, and she didn't want to do basically the voiceover. So Gabriel, who was kind of heading up the project, decided that he basically said that it was like too special of a project to get for himself to do the voiceover himself, So he ended up calling it off, but I still made that sequence, and then a couple months later, I was like, oh, it's actually a pretty cool edit. So I was like, do you mind if I release the sequence? And he also thought it was cool, so he released it himself, I think, as well.
Yeah.
It was a fun project to work on.
Yeah, it sounds like that. By the trailer you posted, the sequence you posted, it looks so good. Like, how did you reach out to you that he wanted to work on that with you? Like,
okay, well, with Gabriel.
Yeah, for the sequence you did.
Well, this was that was the first project I ever worked on with Gabe. And that was kind of my first breakthrough into the professional editing world, because before that I would send out, because Gabe, he's building a YouTube channel, but he's most known as like a kind of director, and in his freelance work he's more established than his channel is, because that's where he puts most of his time. But I used to message loads of directors and editors or contacts who I thought could give me work. And I remember, like, back a year ago, or just over a year ago, I'd send out so many DMs on Instagram just to people, like, saying, I'll do free work for you. Can you, do this? And just give me a shot, basically. And I would send out loads, and I got no replies for ages. And Gabe was the first person who replied to me, and he basically gave me a chance. And he was like, okay, do you want to, I can't remember, maybe he might give me like a little test edit to do before we worked on that one. Or we just jumped straight in. He still paid me for it at the end. So that was cool. And that was mind-blowing for me back at the time. Because I remember I was looking on Fiverr trying to get editing jobs where I was going to be paid like £4 an hour. And then Gabe swooped in, and I was expecting
bigger amount than
like,
£4 per hour.
Yeah, a lot bigger amount. And at the end of the project, I was like, I'll do it for free, bro. I was like, honestly, I don't mind. I'll just like be so ecstatic that I could get my work featured into a film. And also with that film piece, I still believed if that had been submitted, if it gone through, I think it was for the Music Bed Film Festival, I reckon it would have probably gone the top 3 at least. It had a really good chance of winning, because it was a really, really cool piece. But so I was like, oh, I'll do it for free. I'll happily. This is amazing. But he still paid me, because he's a lovely guy. And yeah, since then we've gone on to do a lot of work together, and he's given me a lot of my work, and I'm grateful for that. And I've kind of managed to expand since then, so that I've got a wider kind of realm of people who can give me work. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah. Did you just cold DMing? Did you ever try like emailing, or was it like?
I never actually. No, I mainly just did cold DMing on Instagram, but because a lot of the time it depends how many followers they've got. I wouldn't ever really target. If anyone's listening and trying to like target people, I wouldn't go for anyone. I never targeted people with more than 200,000 followers, because the chances of them seeing your DM are very low.
Very
Actually, I mean, you got in contact with Amada, and he has not sure how many followers he's got on. So I'd be interested to see how you did that. But that was great networking by you. But yeah, I would just cold DM lots of people. And the way which Instagram works is if you've got a blue tick and if you have quite a lot of followers, you have two sections.
Top request and all request.
Yeah, that's in one of the sections, but you have primary, which is where people who you're following, they'll message you. And then you have general, which is where if you have like a public account, then anybody who you're not following messages you, their messages will come in there, and they don't necessarily get a notification. And the way it works is if you click on that message, the person who sent it can't necessarily, I don't think they can see if you've read it. But for a lot of these people, like, you'd be surprised at how little messages some famous people or well-established followers get. So it's always worth shooting your shot and sending that message and sending that tweet. And looking back on it, and still now, any opportunity or almost every opportunity I've got, which has allowed myself to develop, has been through cold calling, or not cold calling, but cold texting, sending that message, sending that tweet. I think you'd like this, and sometimes like it will come back 4 months later, and the person will finally reply and be like, "Yeah, I'm down." So yeah, it's always worth that. That's how I did it. I never really emailed people I never emailed people.
Yeah, like here's how I saw it. If they're under 10,000 on Instagram, I would DM, and if they have like 50,000, I try DMing. But if they have anything more than that, I'll just email, because I feel like email is a quicker way to get them to respond quicker. And then like from there you can let's continue the conversation on Instagram, and then just like it's easier that.
I can imagine it's definitely it'll definitely be like a more effective way of reaching the top people. I guess if you're trying to reach people who have a much higher following, then email is probably the best way. And actually, I take back my earlier comment, because occasionally I do send emails. How I first got in contact with Zach and Jay like 3 years ago was through an email.
That's
and cool. Occasionally I'll send emails to creators if I think they're the type to respond, kind of.
Yeah, same. Like when I sent the email to Max Fox, I was like, you know what? I don't think he's gonna respond. I don't see him as the type of guy to like respond to emails. And then like 10 minutes later, I saw he responded, and I was like, what? And yeah, I also emailed Zach. He responded, but then he said for my podcast. He said I'm down, and I never replied back. A lot of people do it, but it's fine.
Well, I think
they probably get a lot of emails.
This is also, that's another thing which you have to think of, is like not to I had to learn this, because at first when I would DM or email people, I would get a bit annoyed if they didn't respond instantly, or if they would say they didn't respond. But you have to understand that a lot of the time they're not meaning to be rude. Like genuinely, a lot of these people who I know and spoken to now, it's not out of rudeness. They just genuinely have a extremely hectic schedule, and they have a very busy schedule, and they have thousands and thousands of these messages frequently. So a lot of the time they're not trying to be rude, but
they just forget, because of all the things they have to do. They're like, oh and I obviously I keep this happened with some other people too, but it's like they don't reply another week. Well, they reply first, then don't reply again after the second email. Well, I send the email, I wait for them to respond. They respond. I'm like, oh, great. I send them information about the podcast, and if they don't respond 3 days after that, I send another email saying, hey, just want to make sure you saw it. And that way, 2 weeks, they don't respond, I'll just keep bugging them.
No, you've got to keep. That's definitely the way to do it. Keep bugging them, because
every couple
if
of weeks,
them off,
I send them an email saying hey, just want to make sure you saw it.
Even you don't want to annoy people, but you should bug them until the point
obviously
that they say we don't want to do it. And then if they don't say that, you should keep bugging them. That's what I did with Jamie. I got Jamie from Zach and Jay show. I got his LinkedIn because they offered me some type of internship job 4 years ago when I was still at school doing GCSEs. I turned it down.
What subscribers did they
have? Zach and Jay, I think they're 780,000. But they create really cool content. Oh, then I'm not. Well, that's a good question. Maybe they were much smaller, maybe 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I got his LinkedIn, and that was my way in. And I bugged him a lot. I still do bug him occasionally. Because, yeah, and now I'm Zach and Jay. They said in the comment that they've asked me to work on creating what is it?
For their spotlight creator.
Course for them.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I got in their spotlight creator, which was cool, but they've also asked me to help work on creating a course with them. So like and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been bugging Jay for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's always worth just to keep hacking away, because as long it still might annoy some people a little bit, but as long as
obviously
like you're relevant, or if they know your name in that space, then that is will always come back to be useful at some point in time, I think. Anyway, maybe wrong.
Yeah. So talking about the course you did for them, like, how did Jamie like tell you, I kind of want you to help with the course, and like, how did that come about?
We haven't literally. That was literally kind of like more of an off comment. I commented on one of their most recent YouTube videos, and they just replied being like, "We'd like love you to help." And I was like, "Sure," but I haven't help. Yeah, create the course or help with creating the course. I really don't know the details, I'm afraid.
I saw that comment.
It was. Did you? Okay, yeah.
Pretty sure I liked the comment.
Good stuff. Yeah, but no, I haven't got in touch with them about that yet, but I'm sure we will.
Maybe you should try like asking them or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just kind of waiting until, because I'm sure they've got their schedules, so
yeah,
I'm sure they'll reach out when they're ready to start working on the course.
Obviously. Yeah. So you like edited a series for Adobe a while back. Like, how did that come about? Like, how did they reach out? Did you reach out to them to like cold DMing, or like, how was that?
Yeah, see that, I mean, that again, that wasn't Adobe reaching out directly to me. That was actually through my friend and Gabe. So that was through that initial contact.
Yeah.
And that's the same person, for anyone who's listening, who I did the music, not that anyone would know, but we chatted about it earlier. Who I did the first person who gave me my initial break.
The Music Bed film.
Yeah, so he's the same guy. He gave me that kind of Adobe job and approached me asking if I'd like to work editing a season for Adobe, which was like an interview series all about creators. I forget who was in the. I think that was the second season, I think. But the first season was Princier and a couple others. I'm not. I can't. Crystal Laura, some people. But yeah, he approached me through that. But like that wouldn't have ever come about
if you were never reached out to Gabe.
Yeah, but also I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but in my credit, what I have done well, I think, is when I've had an opportunity come to me, I've always made sure that I've maximized and impressed on that opportunity. So when I'd hustled so far, like, because I'd spent like 4 months reaching out to people and I got no responses, hardly at all, or no valuable responses.
That was me in the beginning, getting guests.
Yeah, of course, but that's the initial hustle you have to go through to eventually succeed. But when Gabe gave me that initial opportunity, I worked so hard on that, and I impressed him.
Imagine.
And then he was like, "Oh, you're actually good." So then he decided to give me more work, and then we started working together more, and that eventually led on to the Adobe series, which was cool it was a fun series to work on.
Yeah, like, what was like the hardest thing you did to like make that series? Like, was there any moment that like you were late to show them the work? Like, let's say they had like deadlines and you're late for the deadline, or like, what was like, did you have like nights where you didn't sleep at all, just working? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, well, that was like that initial Adobe series as well, because it's quite a step up. Like, Adobe's quite a big company. And time, I hadn't ever worked with a company that big before, so I made sure, again, I took my opportunity well of that. I just worked really hard at it. But yeah, I'm not sure how in detail I can go because I don't want to talk too much about.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't want to talk, but yeah, it was definitely testing because I pushed myself to my max because I wanted to do the best possible. I wanted to do the best I could do that series, especially at the start. But it was very testing. They were a very time pressured company, and we had a very tight schedule for turnaround. So we got given like the videos, and they wanted like the first episode out in 2 days. But there's a lot more kind of behind the scenes work and in editing, and there's multiple microphones and stuff. So it's a long process to do it. So it was quite a few late nights, especially at the start. And
I can imagine.
Yeah, and I also did these like intro kind of edits, which I kind of push myself on, which like scrapbook style. So yeah, I just really tried to do my best and push my skills to the max, which was always worth doing because now having gone through that initial
the product
stress,
is great.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's looking back on it, I'll probably critique it a lot and think it's terrible, but that's just in my nature. But at that time, I tried my best, and that's what matters. Now I'm better, and now instead of me having to go through enormous stress and panic and
to get a lot easier.
Editing, it's now become my new normal, which is just a nice point to be at. But yeah, you have to obviously go through that initial pain, stress, and failure to get to a point where you can still edit, or well, in my case, you can still edit to a great level, but you can do it with ease. I'm not saying I'm great, by the way. I've got so much more to learn. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like definitely like through time, you get better. And you just do it like instantly. Like Max Fosh mentioned that like when he did Street Smart, he still does Street Smart, but he can't because of COVID. But when he did it frequently, he the first couple episodes were like hard for him to edit, and then he just like did it like without really putting any effort because he already knew what to do, so he did it easily. And that's if you keep on like doing one style, it becomes really easy, and you just like do it like that.
Yeah, it becomes like I'm not sure what the word is, but it becomes like system memory or something where you don't even have to think, you just do it.
Yeah.
And that's where you just become super efficient.
And I need to add this music, I need to make these type of jump cuts, everything, It just comes to mind.
Well, it's really hard to learn to edit at first, but once you'll get to a stage eventually. Well, if anyone's wanting to edit who's listening to this, the first bit will be really hard, and I'm still learning new stuff. But you'll get to a point where you start to master the software, or you start to understand how the edit works. You start to understand flow, and then it just becomes easy because you don't have to think; you just do.
Yeah. So now for the last question, do you have any advice for like anyone who wants to become like a freelance editor or like a YouTuber? Because you definitely have experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, my YouTube channel hasn't blown up yet, but hopefully it will after COVID ends. But I can kind of give more advice because I've managed to do some things in editing.
I guess a good
not
amount
much at all. Yeah. I mean, the way to do it is, look, at the start, I think the thing with YouTube is like, if you actually just do it consistently, and I still think this, and it may sound weird because I haven't blown up, but I truly believe that if you just know how YouTube works and do it consistently, like when COVID's over and I'm able to do it properly, I hope to see good growth. But I think if you really know how YouTube works and you just do it consistently, anybody can do it. I'm nothing special at all. This last year, I've just had the courage to allow my creativity and to grow and express myself. And I show that now on camera, and I show that in the videos I create. So it's just the courage of allowing yourself to express yourself. But anyway, back to the question. If you want to start YouTube, just do it. Just start. It's never going to be easy at the beginning.
A lot of people quit in the beginning.
Yeah, of course, because your videos are always going to be terrible at the start. My videos at the start were really bad. Not terrible, but they were terrible. They were really bad. But of course, that's how it's always going to be, because you can't become good at something without failing lots. Like, people don't realize that the only way to become the people who you look up to, well, I'm not speaking about you, I'm speaking to someone listening. A lot of the people who you as a viewer, or even myself, look up to now, and you see on their great podium, and you see them as great creators and storytellers, people forget that well, also they're only great, and they're only some of the world's best creators, and there's only really good creators and editors and storytellers and YouTubers because they failed like 1,000 times more than the normal person. Because like the videos which you see them creating now, you see the end product of 10 years of hard work, but what you don't see is the videos they first made. And everybody's videos when they first make are bad. So if I was to give any advice, and with editing as well, it's just start. You have to accept that the start is always going to be the most painful bit, but eventually you'll reach a stage where the things you're creating will become more respectable, and you'll feel more proud of them. And you just got to put in that hard graft at the start. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and it's going to take quite a lot of emotional resilience, because whenever you try to do something out of the ordinary and out of the box, there's always going to be people who will try and push you back. And that's not ideal. But that's just the way it is. And the people who manage to go on and be successful are the people who manage to still work hard and still graft at it and still keep going on, despite having all that pushback from others, despite failing consistent. Any advice, just lean into failure, put in the hard work, and eventually I think it will all pay off, because hard work always pays off in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, and a lot of people think like Mr. Beast found his style of videos. A lot of people think like Mr. Beast started like making amazing videos since the beginning, and like even if you look back at his old videos, you can tell like the improvement. And same with me and you probably, because like my videos were 1 hour long Minecraft Let's Play videos. And then like through time, I like kind of learned how to do them better. Now I finally found my own style. And a lot of YouTubers definitely like take lots of time to find like their niche videos, which is something that happened to me.
I still haven't really found like my style. Yeah, I'm still developing it. But of course, it's just a process, really. Like, I think everyone improves over time, overdoing.
I think if you have like under 10,000 subscribers, you should experiment with different types of content and not just like stick to one. Because maybe like you can find one that blows up. For me, it was the podcast. Like I started doing podcasts and instantly I saw results, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though my first podcasts were really bad, but
No, it's also the right time to, because when you're bigger and when you're more established as a YouTuber, it's harder to
do different things.
Yeah, because your audience might get affected by that, which is why recently, like if you look at some of my most recent videos, they're a lot different style, and they're much more kind of open than my usual types of videos. I suppose if my usual types of videos going forward would be like the sneaking in stuff, the big ideas, the not pranks, but I don't know, trying to pull off big stunts and stuff. But recently, I've just tried to experiment a bit more with the content, because I might as well try now and have a bit of fun with it whilst I've got a small audience, because one day I won't be able to.
Yeah, even if you look back at my last probably like 30 videos, you're going to see tons of different styles. Like you can see Minecraft video, podcasts, blogs, tutorials, and
That's great. I'm sure you'll be very successful going forward.
Thank you. I'm sure you will too.
I appreciate it. But yeah, you've started at a very young age as well. You started at 5, which is crazy.
5.5. Yeah, I know.
You've been doing this for almost all of your life,
basically,
which is great. But yeah, I'm sure if you definitely stick at it, it will blow up.
Yeah, and the amount of time I've done it is like I have never gotten bored doing it. Like I have had friends that like kind of do it that did it at the same time as me when did it at the same time, and then 2 weeks in they quit because they're not growing enough subscribers. I'm like, what? Like you're not gonna get results 2 weeks in. Like, it's always gonna take time. For me, it took what 60 years to get 1,000. So
well, your work ethics and your mindset's on point, and that's why I think you will be successful going forward, because that is what separates it. Anybody can do YouTube. Anybody can really do anything. The problem is that
it's just
people see YouTube and they see the fun. Well, yeah, they see the fun and they see the highs, and they assume that you can just get to that point without.
Got there instantly.
But they don't understand that it actually takes years of hard work and graft.
Yeah.
And YouTube is a lot harder. Well, I've heard lots of business people say this, and I found this, having set up traditional businesses before. YouTube's definitely a lot harder than setting up like a proper business. So it's not an easy thing to do. It just requires commitment. It requires emotional resilience, and it requires time and a lot of hard work. And a lot of people
being able to
start that, and then but a lot of people start that, and then they kind of realize that this isn't so fun, actually, all this hard work, and it's not all glitz and glam, especially at the start, especially for the first few years. But if you have the mindset to get through that, then I'm sure you go far, and hopefully I can as well.
I think you will. And definitely people just see like that end product. They think in 10 minutes they will have the end product, you know? I have one of my friends who's probably listening to this, and he keeps on telling me every time we talk, like, if I start a YouTube channel, I'll be able to get 1,000 faster than you. Like, and I'm like, no, you won't. It'll take you at least 2 years to get there, because he has like no experience doing it. And yeah, it definitely takes time. So just don't expect a year in you're gonna have 100,000. You might, but it's just luck, you know. Mainly.
Well, the thing is, I think with YouTube, when I saw a creator called Ryan NG Films, he made a video on this, because the attraction to YouTube is that every single person who's watching has that upload button in their top corner. It's not like Netflix when you watch something and it's Netflix is giving them something. With YouTube, anybody and everybody can create content. But then they make the assumption that just because they can upload a video and they see what's being produced, they think it's easy. They think it's easy. And I thought it was going to be easy when I first started, but it's certainly not. And even if there are people who start and have great success initially, that doesn't matter, because eventually, like, hard work will always pay itself off, because it probably wouldn't happen. But let's say your friend did start and he had 1,000 subscribers in a year, and you spent 5 years trying to get to that point. I'm sure it will come back, because he may get to 1,000 subscribers quickly, but within the next year, you might get to 200. Yeah, and you might get to 200,000. So I think hard work will always ultimately pay off. What you put in will always come back. And I'm a big believer of that.
Same. So before we end, is there anything you want to promote, like your social media, or any upcoming projects you have?
Not really at the moment. I've been pretty busy these last 6 months of me going at it pretty much non-stop, all day, every day. So I'm kind of giving myself a little bit of time off to relax at the moment. So no real projects at the moment. But if you haven't subscribed to my channel, come over.
Go subscribe. Link in the description.
Yeah, for sure.
And all your other social media will also be in the description. But anyways, thank you, VONZY, for coming on. This really means a lot. And
Thank you.
No problem. And I'll see you next episode of the Nicocast.